if they'd like to take.
Okay, can you hear me? Mic on? He said no. Testing.
That's mainly, I think, just for the recording. You're not going to hear it in the room.
We're not. Okay, so I need to talk loud. Okay. Should have brought a bullhorn. Hey, Rick, we haven't.
I can get you one if you want.
That would be too much, I think. I think everybody's here that's hasn't gotten lost. So see if I can get through this. Just want to welcome you all here on this birthday celebration of life. As I stand before many of you now, like Grace and I did on the wondrous day that our life began so many years ago, it seems fitting that we share this special occasion together. The person we are here to remember is known by many names, whether as a spouse, a mother, a friend to her children, or connected to her spiritual life or health issues. So if you choose to share, please feel you're going to hear some different names, but don't be confused, please. For those of you, hopefully you all have your brochures. I just want to make mention that two of the poems that are in here, she wrote some years ago. One is called Funeral, and the one on the back side that says, "The Lord bless you and keep you." And the one that says, "God's Grace," I wrote after she passed. Hopefully you will have memories to share, or just to be in prayerful silence. There's no right or wrong way to be here. Just glad that you're here, and to remember her in however you feel is right for you. So I guess that's all I have to say. Thank you again for being here. As you all know, this was unexpected. And I'm sure that she would love the fact that you're all here to celebrate her life. Thank you again for coming.
Laura was my friend. We met in August 1990 when both of our sons were in kindergarten together. We saw each other when we picked up our children from school and began talking and getting to know one another. We've been friends for 20 years. We had similar values, especially loving our families and loving God. As time went on, we talked about God and Jesus more. She was a tremendous prayer warrior. Many times I asked Laura for prayers for my family, especially for my children, for finances, health, relationships, and employment opportunities. When we called each other on the phone, we easily spent an hour talking about what was happening in our lives since the last time we talked. We laughed, cried, and prayed together. We always ended our phone conversation with a prayer. She had so much insight and perspective into different situations. The Lord guided her prayers, and they were exactly what I needed to hear. I'm wearing a tie-dye shirt in honor of Laura today. In 1994 or 95, Laura told me that her friend who makes tie-dye shirts or tie-dye kits for Michael's craft stores needed 250 tie-dyed shirts to display along with her kits. Laura asked me if I would like to help her tie-dye them, and I said yes. We tie-dyed many of the shirts in my backyard and an area I fondly called the tie-dye area. After we were done with our projects, we shared the remaining dye and created our own shirts for our families. We had worked together, had fun, produced beautiful t-shirts that would be displayed at Michael's throughout the country. I thank Laura for the opportunity to create these beautiful, vibrant t-shirts. Otherwise, I wouldn't be wearing this today. I miss Laura already. I thank God for putting Laura in my path, in my life, me, and especially loved me. I know I will see her again. I know she'll be there welcoming me when it's my time to be with the Lord. Thank you, Laura, for your friendship and love always. I love you, Laura. And I do want to mention something that was pretty amazing this morning. I came outside to my backyard and I was on my porch step, and all of a sudden I looked to my right and there was a red Mylar star balloon in my crepe myrtle tree. And it wasn't there yesterday. And red is my favorite color, and I really believe that Laura, that's a sign that Laura was near, that was for me, from Laura. And I just wanted to share that with you because it was pretty amazing. I took a picture and it made my heart smile. Thank you.
I'm Sophie-Annie Harris. I moved away 15 years ago, and I remember Laura well. And the reason I popped up now is I'm the person that had the company that made the tie-dye kits. And it's so great to know that she helped us dye all those shirts to spread around the country. So that's very cool. Anyway, I knew Laura for many years, and I just remember putting on dinners all the time. We put on dinners at our meeting place and invited everybody. This was a lot of work, and Laura was a worker. She would just cook and cook and cook. She was a wonderful cook, and she was stalwart. She was strong. If she said she was going to do it, by gosh, she was going to do it. Don't matter what came in the way, but the thing was going to be done, and it was going to be done right. And she's just wonderful. She was really there for you. If you needed something that had to be done, Laura would do it. And she was the backbone of our group in many ways. And we'll miss her, but I have a feeling she has a pretty prominent place. Anyway, I'm glad I got to be here. Yes.
Fill in the space. I didn't really plan anything. Grace and I met in the 1970s. We were both teaching at the Subud preschool. and we became fast friends. And then my husband Raphael and I moved to Washington State from 1980 to 91, and we came back to San Diego then in 91, and Grace and I were, you know, still close friends. And I don't know when it started, but we would talk on the phone, just like you, for an hour or more. And I wonder how many people she was talking on the phone with, you know, and her sense of humor, and we'd catch up on everything, and there were all these medical things going on. And every now and then I'd be thinking, you know, she'd tell me about this, that, and the other, a lot of medical issues and being tired. But she had more energy than I did, even when I'm not sick, you know. But she just was so strong and such a good example and such a dear friend. And I felt like I could say anything to her. I could be completely open with her. And, you know, we had a lot of experiences over the phone most of the time. And I think everybody will remember her cooking. All the time, cooking. And to keep a good sense of humor. So, you know, you just wonder, she'd be really so pleased to feel so appreciated. I can't think of anything else that I wanted to say. Except, I don't know when did she move to San Diego? Like 1976? Something like that? Yeah. So 43 years. And she came up and visited us in Washington before she was with you. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So anyway, is this mine? Okay. I don't know what else to say except we're gonna miss you, Grace. It'd be great if we all could get together once we all have gone to the next world, you know. Yeah, it reminds you we all are going to.
Well, she'll be organizing the party.
Yeah. I bet we do. We'll all sit around in wonderful grassy meadows or whatever we like. I'm really glad that she's relieved of the burdens that everyone knows that she carried during this life, so. Oh, and you know, I got to see her. So she went in the hospital on Tuesday, and it just so happened that we were planning on coming to San Diego the next day, so I got to see her. She wasn't awake, but it was okay, you know. Yeah. Stories I can't share.
We came up here just to look at my phone. I'm Renata, and I know Grace, who was Laura when I met her. And I'm just going to read a poem. It was a poem I wrote before my parents died, but it feels appropriate for Grace especially.
Speak up.
The microphone doesn't work.
Oh, it doesn't? Oh,
So you have to yell.
so this is called Before You Leave Us. To the caregivers and the freedom marchers, to the teachers and the holders of hands, to the protectors of the mute and the small and the many, rest your soul deeply now. To the mothers of birds who will never fly, and to fathers who have never stopped fathering, do not worry. Someone was born today. Somewhere in this world, someone was born to carry on for you. They will spend their precious life reaffirming your life of service. They will not look like you. Their calling has a different face. And they will not be holding a candle for you. They will be busy reigniting the universal flame of love and justice. So before you leave us, do not worry, because someone has just arrived to pick up where you left off, to fight the good fight, to do the job of saints.
I will miss Grace. I will miss the caring that she brought to our Subud meeting, and the meal preparations. She put so much caring into preparing the food, making sure that everything was just right. She was also a fervent supporter of our project in Tijuana, which has changed names several times, but now called Casa Matita. She consistently brought me bags of clothes, which some of them had labels on them, so I assume that she used to go out shopping. Can you confirm that for me, Bill? Did she go out shopping?
Yes.
For stuff to go to Mexico?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought she did. So almost weekly she bought me bags full of groceries, which I believe came from Grocery Outlet. That's where she used to shop. And bags full of canned food, dried food, and as I said, clothes, with new clothes, children's clothes often with labels on them. So she really cared about it. Come down to Mexico a couple of times to see what we were doing. She was one of the first signers of Athena, our charity arm, Subud charity arm, and one of the people who stood for the project and helped to get it off the ground. It's a regular Subud funded project. So I appreciate that about Grace. I just appreciate her loving being.
Hello, everyone. My name is Katrina Jordan, and Steve is one of our good friends, co-worker. Well, ex-co-worker. I retired, so he's still working. But they're from AAA, so we're out here to support him. Now, I first met his mother, and we call her Sue. I know everybody got every name here. Like they said, she got different names. But I first met her after Steve was involved in a car accident, because we went to the hospital to visit my father who had a stroke. And he was there on the same floor, and I had went to check on him, and I met him, his mother, and his brother at that time. And so then, Steve got better and everything, came back to work, and we kept acquaintance up with his mother. And once they downsized the auto club and people went to other offices and some left and some retired like I did, we try to all keep it together. So once a month we would meet and have lunch, and she would come. And first we had Rosie. Rosie, raise your hand. Raise your hand, Rosie. Oh, raise your hand. She's in the green over there. She's barely raised her hand. But her mother was our first honorary AAA mother at the luncheon. So we had Miss Jerry. She passed away. And then my mother was like the second honorary. She's still here. I'm in Memphis, Tennessee now. I moved out of the state. But my mother's still alive. So she's still here. Then after we left, Steve's mother would come, and before I left, she would come. So we kind of like adopted her to be the third honorary AAA mother. So she was so nice. She was always sweet. She always, was very pleasant to me. Always made me feel friendly in the family. She would, when I flew in last year, it's been going on almost 2 years now, so I flew in last year. She came to church, her and Steve, they came to church. She was like, I'm gonna come to church when you come. I was like, okay, cool, come. She had a good time. And I was planning to see her again, but it didn't happen. And so I had told Steve when he told me about when they was gonna have the service, I was already coming in, but I just came in a week early before I could be here for her. And they're just a lovely family, and we're gonna miss her.
My name is April, and my sons were in high school with Steve. That's how I met him. And for a while, well, Steve works at the same place my son worked at for a while. And I met Laura when Steve was in the hospital. Although my son met her earlier because he used to help out where the guys lived. I think most people know her better than I know her, but I felt her love and her support and her caring in a way that still stays with us. My son is very ill with alcoholic cirrhosis, and her spiritual group has been praying for him, which has given our family a feeling of strength that would just be missing from our life. However, I lost my own mother in 2010, and I know for a fact the people you love, the support they give you, the caring they give you doesn't leave you when their body leaves you. I still feel her. She's still part of my life. And this is a poem from the internet by Anonymous, but it spoke to me when my mother passed. It's called Remember Me. To the living, I am gone. To the sorrowful, I will never return. To the angry, I am lost. But to the happy, I am at peace. And to the faithful, I have never left. I cannot speak, but I can listen. I cannot be seen, but I can be heard. So as you stand upon the shore, gazing at the beautiful sea, remember me. As you look in awe at a mighty forest in its majesty, remember me. Remember me in your hearts, in your thoughts, and in memories of the times we loved, and the times we laughed, the times we cried, and the battle we fought. For while you think of me, I am still with you. My mother is with me, and I feel like Laura is still with a lot of you. Thank you.
My name is Athena, and here I wasn't even weepy when I was sitting there, but anyway, now I'm getting weepy. I was thinking of her kindness, and I have three memories that came to my mind. One was about shopping with her for the La Casa children down in Tijuana. And I am a big picture person, not at all detailed, and she can be very detailed. And she can process a lot of, but no, she would go to this store, this store, this store, and she would be she had such a strong commitment to using the money, the donated money we had, to its highest potential. And that really became evident. And for years and years and years, I think she did a lot of was the primary person doing a lot of the buying for the school supplies. And I had another memory of when my husband was sick, how she was not feeling so well at that time, but she would just show up. She wouldn't call, which was fine, and she'd stop by, and she'd always have soup or food, or she sometimes made larger quantities, and then she would give usually really good soups. So she'd come in, and her kindness And then the third memory, which was the last time I actually saw her, which was kind of humorous to me, she was concerned because that I had not found another partner yet. So we were talking about this, and she had me sit down, and then I will not go into all the details, but she described to me what she did before she met you, Bill. And mainly from a metaphysical standpoint of what she was really, I mean, just her big heart. She was concerned about me, and she really felt that she was very fortunate to have pulled you in from the universe, so to speak. And that was the last conversation I had with her. So thank you, Grace. I haven't tried it out yet, but maybe I will. Because she'd be helping me up there. Thank you. And you can tell how you both met. She did tell me that whole story.
With that introduction, I need to give you some background on this. Laura was born in New York. And, there were a lot of similarities where our lives intertwined. My father was also from New York, and his family made their way to San Diego. She made her way to San Diego. Her mother's name was Florence, my grandmother's name was Florence. So, a lot of interesting touchstones. Laura had a lot of spiritual connections in her life. She had relatives who were, her family is Catholic, but she wasn't Catholic on her father's side. Over the years, she was acquainted with Catholics, religion, with Methodists, Quakers, and we first met at a Catholic church in San Diego. My way distant relatives who came over from England, located in Flushing, New York, and one of my distant relatives was a carpenter and helped build the Flushing Quaker Meeting House in Flushing, New York. In my years, I grew up in a Protestant church. Also became familiar with my water in.
So, throat's going to be right. So Long Island, with Catholic background on her father's side. Um, Early in life, she and her first husband were caretakers of a Quaker church in Rochester, New York. Later on, after coming to San Diego, when we met at the Catholic church here in San Diego, they also later on became members when we were living in the South Bay with the Imperial Beach United Methodist Church. And then in more recent years, when I wasn't working on Sundays, after our son Holland/Jonathan was born, we went to Quaker meeting in La Jolla, and then later on attended here a few times to the San Diego Quaker meeting. And so there's a lot of overlapping of spiritual ties, which makes it appropriate that we be here today in this place where she and I worshiped together for a time until I got a job which made Sundays out for having any kind of religious connection that we could share together. The best man at our wedding is here today, and some of you that were here at the wedding are also here today. So it makes it really special. Goes without saying, it sounds trite, but she's my best friend. And because of her cooking skills, it's really made it possible for me to be here. Men in my family, most didn't make it this far. So I give credit to her care, her love, her nurturing, and her good cooking. All of which were always filled with love and compassion. And she always kept, even though we both had organizing ways of thinking, she outshined me. We first met at the Catholic Church. I was involved with the Catholic worker movement, which had a house that had been donated about a block away from the church. And so when I would get up during the service and make a pitch for needing volunteers to help with getting the house ready for homeless men that needed a stable situation so that they could have a mailing address and have a phone where if they tried to find work, they would have a more stable life situation to pursue getting out of being homeless. So she approached me after service one week and said that she was interested in volunteering. And so that's how we met. And the Catholic worker was big on doing food prep, which was right up her alley. And they would have, the Catholic worker would have soup kitchen, and she was got involved with that. So it just all roads led to us from all different perspectives brought us together. And truly a match made in heaven for us both. Unless other people have more to say, it gives you a little bit more background of how we came together. So all of the kids are here today. If you want to gather with us, enjoy the food in the lobby area. I'll shut up and to give you a few minutes if you feel like you need it. So if not, just take just a few moments of silence just to remember her. Thank you all again for coming.
Anybody else wants to say anything you're saying, or can I just have time on?
Be brave. I'll hold you. He just suggested there's a song that she especially loved, which is Amazing Grace. Amazing Grace. So we thought, let's all sing it. We're just getting it started. That's why we're standing up here. Is that a good? Amazing Grace. How sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. the second verse. Anyway, 'twas grace that taught my heart to fear, as grace my fears relieved. How precious was that grace I first believed. When we come on up. Been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun. There's no less ways to sing God's praise than when we first begun. Yeah, let's do the first verse. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Now belt it out. I once was lost, but now I'm found. But now I see. Okay, now I get to this. And while I'm up here, Grace and Bill did the housekeeping for Subud for several months. And then she called up one day and she said, this is just too hard. So I said, okay, I'm going to take over. As I'm cleaning up the place, I'm looking up towards this Grace. You're right. Where did you see that comment? They used the wrong stuff the first time. It smelled terrible. Oh, I had the good stuff over here. This is the big garbage. I'm Denise.
Denise, oh, okay. Grace has mentioned your name, and I just couldn't connect.
No, we just can't remember where to find the car.
And I'm fun.